Hey! It's Laura Helen from 831 Designs, parenting, world schooling, awesome boss mummy. Here, interviewing an incredible lady today. I'm going to just invite her on so she can find it. Woohoo! We're going to be interviewing lots of ladies over this month. We're going to be creating a huge event in London with 100 female speakers out there ready to empower women. It's part of a global, it's one of 1,000 events hitting worldwide. The idea is to have 1,000 women attend 1,000 events worldwide so we can impact 1 million ladies. Wow, it's going to be so incredible. Christina is here. Let me just invite Christina on. Here we go. Bring Christina on camera. Christina, the first of our ladies. So all the ladies we're going to be interviewing this month.
Yay! It worked! There! All right. Glitches finished. Let me just see where I can put this now. All right. Oh, I'll be upside down.
They didn't have to deal with me singing.
I'll be looking down. It's all good. It's all good. Hi, I made it. Okay. Oh, little technical difficulty. It happens the best. What is the moon? I don't know.
Yes, we should have known when I've been messaging the wrong person all day. What's the chances I have 2 Christina Fletchers in my network?
Well, you know what's really funny? I don't know if you saw it on my own profile, but I had a message from a Christina Fletcher yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. I posted about it on my personal profile. I had this woman wrote me out of nowhere. She said, "Oh, my name's Christina Fletcher too, and I've written a few books, and I've written a few books as well." And she was based in St. Louis, over in the States. And she said, "My name's Christina Fletcher. My library carries all my books." And she's like, "And now they carry yours because they ordered them by mistake because we have the same name." And I was just like, "Okay, I'm okay with that." My books are now in St. Louis Library, so
that's
there
a great mistake. Thank you.
I was like, all right, universe, that's just fine with me. It's all good.
Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, absolutely.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So please tell everyone who you are and what's your backstory.
Oh, what's my backstory? That's a long time to go. I'm Christina Fletcher. I am an energy healer and spiritually aware parent coach. And my backstory, where to begin? Oh, well, I'm Canadian. I'm a mom of 3 kids. 2 of them are teenagers now, so they are 16, 15, and 9. I'm married to my twin flame, love my life. We met actually over in the UK. I was on kind of a journey of self-discovery, I suppose, and we just kind of landed meeting each other. We were engaged within 3 weeks, and he moved back to Canada with me within 6. Yeah, love at first sight, the whole deal. And so we've been together now for 17 years, and we've kind of traveled all over the place and back and forth. And yeah, my business is my sole passion, and I love working online, and I love working with a heart-centered business, and I love making sure that it's all about authentically showing up. And yeah, my clients deal with everything that I am. So yeah. That's pretty much theater training in the background somewhere. Used to be a musical therapist. A lot of backstory. Yeah, gathered up all the experience. Yeah, it's been a ride. It's good.
I love that. What a great journey. Love at first sight. I love that. So romantic.
Yeah.
And you found him here in England. Woohoo!
Yeah. We were down in Glastonbury, down in Somerset. And yeah, just kind of. Wow. Yeah. Actually, it was September 12th. So the day after September 11th in 2001. So it was. The world changed, everything was transformed, and then, bam, we looked at each other and sparks flew, and everything transformed personally too. So there you go. Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Wow, my hubby used to live about 20 miles away from there in Somerset.
Oh, you're kidding me? Whereabouts? We lived all over there.
He was Montacute outside of Yeovil.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, that's really funny because when I met my husband, he was down Charlton Mackerel way, so right near Yeovil, all through that way. Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah. More world, right?
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. It's so funny. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
That's so crazy. So what's the dream? What would you love to accomplish?
Oh, so many. So many, and living it. My dream is truly to feel a sense of unlimitlessness, I think. I love the feeling of having a team supporting my work, and I love the feeling of having my ideas come in and then being able to pass those on to people and having those then created in front of me. I kind of, I'm a big follower of Daniel Laporte. I don't know if you know Daniel Laporte and the Desire Map and all of them, or then if you take, some of these, Leonie Dawson and all of them, and you watch them and they create these things and they create their passions and then they pass them on to a team. And I think that's the dream that I'm working on right now, is having that, creating this beautiful network of people that are working on what I'm creating. And what that dream would be in what I'm creating is, I love to empower moms. I love to empower moms to be themselves. That's my true, like, and more than themselves, I love to empower them to dig really deep within themselves, not to do what they're showing themselves as, not to be what they're showing the world, but what they're being within the world. And that's really what I love. Yeah. And then passing that, because that, if the mom knows how to do it and the mom is taking care of their own true essence, then the kids learn how to do it. And it's a beautiful ripple effect. And that to me is the dream. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of writing and a little bit of holidays and some nice dates. There you go.
So we've all been on our journeys. Like you say, you're a mum and you've been travelled here and there. What have been your struggles you've come up against?
I think there's, in a lot of ways, I would say that the struggle that I didn't know was a struggle was the fact that I wasn't raised. My mom had me when she was like, she was in her 40s, and I was raised with a very traditional, fundamental concept of a house. My dad went to work. He wore a suit. He retired at 65, and my mom stayed at home. She took care of the kids. And so I think the struggle that I only started to really acknowledge was a struggle was the fact that I was breaking my own belief structure of by embarking in my own business. And really, it's actually funny. There was a great Joseph Campbell quote that popped into my, well, it was in my planner actually the other day, and it just said that, if you know the path you're on and you know exactly where you should be going, and the steps are laid out for you, 1, 2, 3, then it's not your path. Your path will always unfold in front of you. And I think my struggle was always the fact that I thought that I should know the plan, 1, 2, 3, but it was so outside my comfort zone, or so outside the belief structure that I was raised in a lot of ways, that I didn't know what that looked like. So it was always back and forth on myself. Whereas when it became 1, 2, 3, then it felt almost off. It wasn't my own personal journey. So when that quote came up, I was like, oh yeah, that was my struggle, because I wasn't actually authentically allowing it to unfold and trusting the fact that I was doing what I should be doing. So trusting my own voice, trusting the journey, trusting the path, and not thinking that it needed to be laid out for me, that I was able to let it unfold. And I think that was the struggle that I really needed to overcome. And it was funny because I was talking to a coach that I've worked with, and I kind of posted a meme in her group, and I was like, hey, look, this is really funny. This is me, because I have a tendency to have a lot of ideas and a lot of different things that I like to work on. And this was a little meme. It was a cartoon of this little girl chasing all these balloons, and she's like, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. And it was all different ideas, So she's like, oh yeah, this one, this one, this one. And I kind of said to my coach, I'm like, hey, it's me. And then I was like, but then it was funny because someone actually, a client of mine, saw it as well, and she's like, well, yeah, but I love your ideas and I love what you do. And I was like, well, yeah, and that's why it's evolved into what it's doing, because now I'm working on a membership program where I can put all of those things, and I'm like, that's why. I didn't know that that's what I was starting out on. You never know what you're starting out on. You just have to follow it step by step by step. And I think that was a struggle to really realize. It's funny. Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing for so many people. It's that control as well for a lot of people,
Yep.
having to we have a crazy story too, which I'll share soon. And we had to literally, I was such a control freak. I don't even let hubby drive before. I was like, had to be in control of everything, ridiculously, insanely. And once you learn to let go, it's pure magic. Once
It
you're
really
on
is.
the right path.
It really, really, really
Oh
is.
wow,
Oh,
it's
it's
incredible.
phenomenal. And it's interesting because I've been studying Alexander technique with a woman here, and I don't know if you know anything about Alexander technique, but it's really interesting
Yeah.
because it's all about taking the least amount of effort or the least amount of, like, we use so much energy on things that isn't necessary. So it's only the effort that's actually required. And I've been applying it now more and more to my business and to my just everyday life. And I'm like, whoa, do I ever waste a lot of like wasted so much energy sometimes? And you just go, yeah, there's like, and part of that effort comes from a sense of needing control, and that's when I coach parents. That's what I love to help them discover too, is that it doesn't need to be about control. It doesn't need to be the amount of effort that parents are taught that it needs to be, of like, oh my God, they're going to be cold. We need to get their coat on. And you're like, but your kid's not cold. It's okay.
Poor kids sweating in their
Yeah,
hands.
exactly. Right? You're like, but they know when they're okay. Like, so there's all these different things that kind of unfold when you just start unpackaging what we've been taught and the steps of 1, 2, 3. So yeah, ever since I read that quote, I'm a little obsessed with it.
That's great. I absolutely love that. So what was the first big wall you hit in your journey? What was the first big thing that, it was smash through it or quit and give up?
Business journey or life journey?
Yeah, on the business
On
side.
the business side, first big wall. Actually, I would say probably that, like, I had to break through the wall before even really starting, because um, we had just come out. Like, I kind of always worked my business backwards, where I started as a writer, so I wrote my books first, and then it was just like I'd always been a writer, so I was writing my books, and then people started asking me about coaching, and I was like, sure, I can maybe do that. Okay, so I kind of did that a little bit and experimented, and I was like, okay, where's this going? And it kind of unfolded in this odd backwards position, because most people become a coach and then they write the book. So, but it just kind of went in this natural way. But then my husband and I actually had a restaurant, and we were doing our own businesses as well, and we were musical therapists as well at points. So we always worked together. And I think when we finally we closed our business, we were running a restaurant, and it was just never do that again. And it was just,
Yeah, I
and
hear
so
that.
we just kind of went, and we found ourselves in this position, and all of a sudden I went, I really want to do this. And it was that, I think, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. I spent about 2 years talking to coaches and grabbing like, we didn't have any money for me to start off on, really. So, it was like anything I could grab. I was just like hunting. And I think that was that initial hurdle of saying, you know what, I'm going to do this. And that's a really hard thing. And then when you don't even know what that means, you don't even know, when you say, like, people say, well, you just make the decision, and you go, oh, the decision of what? Like, it's like the decision of, it's like, yeah, so, I'm going to talk to people, and I'm going to coach people, and that's going to be my business. I was like, what does that even look like? So I had to learn about what coaching was and how to coach, and then I had to learn how to show up authentically, and then I had to learn how to market, and I had to learn all these things which I didn't even know existed when I actually drew that line. So I think that was the struggle. It was the initial commitment to the whole thing. And I would actually probably say, in a long run, like, the defining, when you need to define yourself and you need to say, because that's the whole point, right? You're taught that in business. Well, you need to define your message. You need to define your brand. And I was like, I barely know what I'm working on. And I think that when I said, wait, this is it, it actually really fully clicked last year. And that's like a long time after I'd started, when I actually started bringing in my energy work within my coaching sessions. And all of a sudden, I literally, someone said, well, just do it, just do distance healing online. Someone else was doing it. And I was like, I've been trained in that, but can I actually do that online? And I tried it as a beta program, and I just went, I'm home. This is home. Like it just felt, I went, now it all makes sense. And really, it was, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Back to the 1, 2, 3. You never know the path. So figuring out that path. Probably wouldn't have had that wall if I'd known, that one for a while. So
Yeah. It makes us grow, though. If we're not struggling, there's no growth. We're not growing.
That's it. And I think it's really important for anyone starting a business to really know that it's okay for you not to know. You dive in and you're like, oh, I need to define myself. And you're like, and so you kind of almost grasp, people are like, well, do your ideal client. And so you're like, okay, I'll just make up this person. And you're like, like they have blonde hair and they're 35 and, you're like, what? This doesn't make any, it doesn't have any weight. And it's okay not to know. Just play a little and make sure you know yourself really well. And when you know yourself really well, then you have a grounded root in that. So then just give yourself the time and give yourself the place and give yourself permission, I think, to really try things out. Give yourself permission to be vulnerable enough to say, anyone interested in just trying this out with me, and just go for it. Because I think that really makes a huge difference. Yeah. And I did not know that, so that was a big wall.
We were the same. We dabbled in so many businesses.
Yeah.
And then we started to realize that people were asking us the same questions. We're book publishers.
Okay.
As well as parent coaches. So we had
brilliant, perfect match. Hi.
Your books, how did you do that?
I did them through CreateSpace. This was quite a few years ago, but it was when that was the only focus that I had. So I actually had the whole presence of mind to, I started off my own book publisher, and I created my own little thing, and I registered for all my ISBNs, and I did all of that back thing, and then I just did them on CreateSpace. Yeah. Hey, we should talk.
Well, my daughter's
honestly, I have another book project in the works right now. I'm co-writing a book with a friend of mine, and then I have a few other ideas that are always floating because, like I say, I'm always chasing the balloons. But so yeah, and I kind of just swore, I was like, I don't even know how I would do that anymore. Too many things going on. Like, how would I even do that? How did I actually find an ISBN? Like, how did I do that? So, yeah.
But it's when you said about, it just unfolds and opens up. We were trying all these different businesses, and then we found we had people asking us, how did you do the books? How did you do the books? How do you do the books? And we're like, maybe there's a market there. And I just threw out a price one day, chatting to someone. It was a ridiculous price for what we knew at the time, because compared to now, what we knew then, I don't know why they paid me.
Don't tell them that.
But you just got to be one step ahead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it was so ridiculously close to it. They were like, okay, I just want to check you out. Like, what's your company called? And I literally just quickly went on GoDaddy, typed something in, bought it, and went, oh, it's this. But if you search it, it's currently under construction. And completely, it was so
very smooth. That's
hubby was in bed. Hubby's like sound asleep. No, and I have a call with America during the night, so I'm on my call with America. Yeah. And he wakes up, and we're a publishing company.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. That is a brilliant
so it's
story.
Like to say, we didn't plan that. It just unraveled.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love it so much when it happens like that. And you just go, oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? And it's interesting because I think the vital thing too, and I still suffer under this, is that you have to give yourself the space to have those downloads and to let those things evolve, because we have a tendency to sit there and plan it all out. And I think there's a vital key point that business owners aren't actually taught, and that is that you will get a download, where all of a sudden you go, oh, yeah, now that makes sense. But if you don't do the self-care, if you don't give yourself a little bit of space, if you just sit there plumbing away on Facebook, which we all can do, you don't get those moments. And it was funny. It actually took. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, carry on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that it was funny because I literally was working super hard over a 3-year period of just plugging away. And then finally, this last Christmas, I just said, you know what, I'm taking December off. And I literally threw a whole bunch of speakers into my group, and I just told everyone, I was like, you guys are all taken care of, and I'm out, see you in January. And it took me having that time of that month that I could go, oh, I want to start a membership program. It was literally a hot shower moment where I was in the shower and it just went, oh, now, oh yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
we don't we don't we don't tell people enough. We don't tell entrepreneurs enough. And
Which, especially parents, especially mummies.
Yeah.
You coach parents like we do, so mummies, it's a huge deal.
Yep.
You have to at least once a week have that bubble bath, have that meditation, whatever is your thing, to just go and
yeah, absolutely. It's all about, and I mean, really, even if like what I always tell my clients is like, you know what, it's like it can be in like 2 minutes. You don't even have to need a lot of time for that. It's just like allow yourself to find yourself at any time. You've got to be able to, and that's why it's really interesting, because it's funny, because in this conversation we can talk about the business and then we can talk about the parenting, and although there's so many similarities, parents hear, oh yeah, she took a month off, well, it's okay for some, because you don't get a month off from your parenting, you're not going to get that time. So if if someone listening for parents on this purpose, then it's like, don't worry, you don't need to find your month. You can find that. You can find your feet. You can find your grounded within a few minutes. But yeah, for those big downloads, when you're like, how on earth am I going to make this big business, which has all these working parts come together? Yeah, a little bit of time off is a really important thing.
Really. When you stop thinking about it, you just clear your head. I love going for walks. Yeah. So I'll just disappear, even if it's just to the shop and back, just that, without the kids. Yeah. Just 10 minutes alone, without the little voices.
Yeah.
You have this little, okay, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do this. And then once you've cleared that, then it's like,
yep.
And you can just flow. It's such incredible.
Yeah. Exactly.
There we go. So what was the biggest transformation that you experienced throughout this journey?
That it was the right path?
You're not the same lady you are when you started.
That what?
Sorry,
what did you say?
You're obviously very different from when you first ever started. So what was the big transformation experience that's made you who you are today?
I would probably say that it was last year when I started working with the energy work. And I would get people writing me back saying, I don't know what that was, but I just feel so much better. And having that where they would say, it all makes sense now, and I just had this massive realization and I just feel so much happier, so much lighter. And those kind of things made me just go, okay, this actually is exactly how this needs to unfold. And I mean, really, in some ways, I don't necessarily like saying that my biggest affirmation was the testimonies that I got back from people, but I think that in any business, I think that's that's the element that really clicks in, because we can have it all in our heads and it can make us feel really happy, but when people start going, that just changed everything. And that it's the same thing too. Actually, I could probably rewind that a little bit. And a couple of years ago, I created my first online course, which was a course it's called Spiritual Kids, and it was all about how to pass on spiritual tools, mindfulness, emotional awareness, and emotional guidance systems and things to your kids from like 4 up. And I had this amazing testimony come back from that, where a woman just said, she says, I never thought of it like this. And she says, I think I'm a spiritual kid. This has changed everything. And she's gone on to do phenomenal things. And I'm not going to say it wasn't because of the course, but I also know that was part of the journey for her. And those little things, when you see the interaction of other people and you go, their journeys and their children's journeys are changing because of things that I'm suggesting, it's humbling and awe-inspiring, and you also know you can't stop. And you kind of go, I can't imagine doing anything else, and I think that is when the affirmation comes in. When you turn around and go, so this isn't making as much money as maybe I wanted it to, or something like that. Or you have like a day where you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how I'm going to do all of what's on my to-do list. Maybe I should just go get a job or something like that, and you just kind of go, ah, and you just imagine that for a minute and you go, this is impossible for me to let go. This is truly authentically who I am. This is truly what I need to do. I do this when I meet people in the street. This is what I am. And then you're in awe that you actually get to do that as a living, and it all kind of clicks back into place. So yeah, I would say that. Does that answer?
I love that. You're completely living in your purpose.
Yeah.
I love that. I think my kids almost get annoyed sometimes because they know whenever I meet someone, even if it's just someone bumping in the street, no matter what country, what language, I try and always add value or make them feel better or just try and do something.
Yeah.
So we meet people, and sometimes before we even speak, the kids will say something like, wow, you're looking so beautiful today, to try and get in there first. Come on, Mummy, we want to go to the park.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. I love it. That's great. Well, and then I'm sure they're starting to pick up on it too and coach all their friends and coach anyone at the park, because I know that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you've never seen anything like it. My little boy, he's only 6. He was playing with his friends when we're back in the UK. And one of them was just trying to build something, and she's like, oh, I just can't do it. And he was like, why would you say that to yourself? You're just not looking at it the right way. If you try a different way, I bet it will work. And after a little while together, she built it, and she was like, yeah, thanks, I did it. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's 6 and he's coaching.
That's brilliant. It's fantastic. I love it so much. I've watched my daughters really transform into like life coaches for anyone they meet online. I've seen them sit in there go, just helping this person out. I'll be right back. I'm like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah. It's so great, isn't it?
It really is. It's fantastic. And I tell you one thing, like really, they are my life coaches too. And I think even my business coaches, I was noticing my 15-year-old came up to me today and I was like, oh, I'm trying to figure out if I should do it like this or like this. And she was like, no, you don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this. And then and I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, that's a good idea. No, definitely.
Mine are only 6 and 10 and they're already there. My daughter's an author and a speaker. My little boy's an inventor and all. He's got 8 books on Amazon. He's way ahead of me already.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good for him. Oh,
so the things they come out with all the time, it's just
brilliant.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. That's a thing that you have to learn as a parent. You have to be able to say, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Sorry, my mistake. I was wrong. You got it.
We love it. We do events for families, so we can reconnect families again, because there's so much disconnect in the world nowadays. Yeah. So they're a part of that. They join in on that. We have times when we separate parents and kids, and our kids would go off and coach and mentor the kids, or we do the parents, and they're still so young. Like it's so
brilliant.
Much fun when families are
fantastic.
They're alive.
Congratulations. That is beautiful. Yeah, that's really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, good for you. How exciting.
So do you have a current offer you would like to share with everyone before we end this awesome interview?
Oh, well, I would probably suggest that everyone could check out my new membership site. Right now, I've just got, just throw your name in on the waiting list, because I'm opening it up. What I'm doing is, it's going to be reopened up at the end of the month, and I am actually going to be hosting a workshop online, which is part of the membership group, because the members always get monthly workshops. And the workshop that everyone's going to have this month, and even if a not member, you can join into this one, is going to be all about the law of attraction and about parenting and how it affects you as a parent. So how you attract your kids' behavior and how your intention and how you see things. My biggest comparison is always that, if you walk in and you expect a messy house, you will never notice if your kids have actually gone to straighten it up. You'll only notice the things that they left in the trash can.
The mess.
You'll always only notice whatever you put your attention on. So we are unscrambling that in a workshop on the 24th. So if you go to the website and you go into the breathing space page on there, then you can leave your name on the waiting list and you will get all the information about all of that. And I'm really, really excited about it. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Make sure when we're done, you put the links to that in the comments.
Oh, I'd love to. Absolutely.
So
definitely.
So everyone can find it. So make sure you pop it in there before, and then I'll share it all out there.
Oh, fantastic.
So people can find you. Hey, Jamie.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So make sure you do that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
So we'll connect personally on a call after.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview.
Beautiful.
It's been incredible.
My pleasure. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I'm glad we finally got it to work.
And I got the right Christina.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Hey, it could have been a three-way call. You don't know. I'd love to meet her. Take care. Love and light, everyone.
Time.
Okay.